Well, hello and good evening, and welcome to UpNorthLive Unscripted. I'm Nicole Long, filling in for Maya Engel this evening, and we are going to start things off with Joe Charlevoix. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
How have you been?
I've been pretty good since the last time I saw you a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, good, good. Me too. Yeah, just finished up the show on NBC and now into this show. It's been a nice day. It's been warm. It's been a little muggy, and most areas today, Nicole, have been dry. There have been a few showers. If you're watching over there in Mayo, you know what I'm talking about. You had a little bit of rain, but we're looking at a better chance for some rain tomorrow. So if you're kind of timing out, maybe you got a few things to do tomorrow, just know that there might be a little rain rolling in tomorrow, and we'll have more on that coming up a little later.
All right, yeah, and we will check back with Joe in just a couple minutes, but for right now, we are going to pull up our first story of the day. It is about some new nurses that Munson Healthcare is adding to their staff in just the next couple of years.
Okay.
Medical Center is taking a global approach to address staffing shortages, bringing nurses to northern Michigan from the Philippines. But some say this is a solution to a problem Munson created.
They created this problem by not giving the nurses what they were asking for in the first place.
Current and former Munson Medical Center nurses tell us they've always wanted two things: safe staffing ratios and better pay to meet the high cost of living in northern Michigan.
You had nurses, local nurses, who left the job because of that, and now it's kind of frustrating that they're bringing in other nurses.
I really see this as a win-win.
Jennifer Stanfest is Munson's chief nursing officer. She explains the reason for bringing in qualified international nurses is
to utilize this and supplement other recruitment and retention strategies that we already have in place to help build our workforce.
But it's a workforce that current and former nurses at Munson say isn't a long-term solution, because there isn't anything keeping them here. How do we retain these nurses?
Yeah, I think it's important that this strategy and a lot of our recruitment strategies tie very directly to retention strategies. We want to make sure that we have great people who are part of the team here, who contribute to excellent culture, great quality care, and then that in turn inspires people to want to be part of our team and stay here.
Often. I still have friends that work there.
What have they expressed to you?
That it's got worse since I left.
This nurse tells us she left Munson because of the unsafe staffing ratios.
I mean, you're putting your nursing license on the line when you're taking on more and more, but you were constantly asked to take on more and more.
More and more patients, she explains, means the nurse is struggling to give above and beyond care when they are spread thin. A current nurse at Munson says it's the same issues the Filipino nurses will face.
Staffing ratios and lack of affordable housing. So I welcome them into our community, and I'm excited to have help, but I fear for them just like I fear for everyone else who's working there.
The support, I think, for these nurses is going to be really important, and making sure that we're working with local and community partners to address some of those things, that are obviously top of mind: housing, transportation, those things.
Sorry. To get a little deeper look at this issue, I'm going to bring in UpNorthLive's Allie Baxter, who did this story, of course. Hi, Allie. How are you today?
Hi, Nicole. Hey, no worries. I could kind of hear you from down the hallway anyways. We would have figured it out.
I know. This unscripted thing, stuff happens.
That's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, digging into your story a little bit, this isn't an issue that's just specific to Traverse City. I know we're a big kind of epicenter for Munson healthcare and hiring people, specifically nurses, to, come here, travel nurses, what have you. And so just, clarifying, this isn't just a Traverse City issue.
Right. This is not a Traverse City issue. It's not even just a Munson Medical Center issue. We know Munson Healthcare has a lot of different facilities all across northern Michigan, and this is impacting all of those. Additionally, this is also something that they had reached out to other hospitals like Henry Ford downstate to say, hey, this is a recruitment technique that we're looking at. How did it work out for you guys? So they did research with other hospitals as well to see if this is something that they wanted to implement and a recruitment strategy that they wanted to try.
Yeah, and so did either of the nurses that you spoke to kind of give their opinions on whether or not that they think this is going to work? Because I know this is something new and something that it seemed like they weren't really that supportive of.
Yeah, so when I spoke to the nurses, one is a current nurse, one is a former nurse, and for the same reasons that the one who is a former nurse gave, she says those are the same problems that these Filipino nurses are going to encounter as well. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're a local, if you're an international nurse, if you're a traveling nurse, you are experiencing some of those same issues, right? The two issues that they raised are they wanted better pay to be able to actually afford to live in northern Michigan. And then they also wanted safe patient staff ratios. And they said, it doesn't matter how many different recruitment strategies you try, you're still going to encounter these issues because if it was an issue 4 years ago when the former nurse was still there and it's still an issue today, it seems that Munson isn't really working to address the root cause, which is they need to retain their nurses as well.
Yeah, and speaking of retaining, I know in your package, Munson did talk about that they do have a retaining strategy, but did they say, or at least tell you kind of what the specific strategies are to keep these nurses here?
They weren't super specific about technical strategies that they are using to retain nurses. Something that they said is they really focus on the culture and environment of where these nurses are working. And they believe that that is a big part of wanting to stay somewhere, right? If you're happy when you come to work and you have great coworkers and you're able to facilitate a really positive environment, that's what they believe is causing people to be able to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, and anything else that you want to add that maybe you didn't have time to say earlier today?
Oh my goodness, so many things. I just want to say thank you to both of the nurses who did speak with us, and they were able to share their perspectives on this. And I think, really the message that they wanted to convey to the community is that, hey, there are local nurses here who they may not be in the hospital anymore, they may not be working bedside anymore, but they would if they could. And oh, that's our boss Pat back there chiming into Unscripted. So yeah, that was really what they wanted people to know is that there are local nurses here, and part of their recruitment strategy should be making sure that the local nurses can come back because they do want to work here. They just say they don't have the right conditions to be able to do so.
Yeah, and something else you also mentioned, before we jumped on this call was that they're moving more nurses to the emergency room because that is kind of a department that sees a lot of people, but in doing so, it impacts other departments in that hospital.
Yeah, that was something that one of the current nurses had shared with me. And of course, if you go on Facebook, you see a lot of comments from people, maybe in Overheard in Traverse City, where, hey, I had this kind of experience in Munson's ER, whether it be positive or negative. You always see some kind of feedback from somebody's experience there. And that's what the current nurse tells me the administrators are really trying to focus on. They want to make sure everybody walks away with a positive experience in Munson's ER. But by doing that in an already understaffed ER, they are taking from the other floors to be able to accommodate that. So then if you are somebody or you're a nurse who is on another floor, you are also feeling that pinch of being understaffed as well. So in trying to make sure that one department is fully taken care of, they take away from another floor or another department as well.
Yeah, it's a complicated issue all around, I feel like. Well, thank you, Allie, for joining us here on UpNorthLive Unscripted. We hope to see you right back here, I don't know, maybe tomorrow.
Most likely. Thanks,
Well,
Nicole.
thank you, Allie. I'll see you later. All right, and moving on to our question of the day. It's a little bit different, kind of focusing on some national news here. And today's question is, do you think Kamala Harris has a better chance of being elected than Biden? 39% of people said yes, 56% said no, and 5% are currently unsure. And kind of going into that, one of the big players in this election is, of course, Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She's been in a lot of talks for either, being elected president or a vice presidential pick for Kamala Harris. And our sister station, WWMT, did a package on this, and we are going to play that right now.
In Lansing, leaving the stage quick without taking any questions from reporters about her political future. But it wasn't long before she was flagged down, making one thing clear: she's not running for vice president, adding she's staying right here in Michigan. I spoke with Andrea Bitely, who owns a public relations consulting firm specializing in political vices.
She's planning to stay in Michigan, which should translate to your viewers as Governor Whitmer is not running for president and is not running for vice president.
Later, a news release from the governor's office announcing she is endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris for president. Her statement goes on to say, quote, "In Vice President Harris, Michigan voters have a presidential candidate they can count on to focus lowering costs, restoring their freedoms, bringing jobs and supply chains back home from overseas, and building an economy that works for the working people." 52-year-old Gretchen Whitmer is currently serving her second and final term as governor. She was first elected in 2019. When that is said and done, Bitely foresees the governor to go on to do bigger and better things, not ruling out presidency.
I think Gretchen Whitmer has a bright future ahead of her, potentially as president, potentially leading a major U.S. company, doing any number of things, right? But what it comes down to is this is not her year, per se. This is Vice President Harris's time to run for president.
And just looking at some of the comments from our question of the day here from Twitter, Michael said, rumors suggest he is deceased, so the answer is obvious. We have some other people saying that President Biden is not fit enough to stay as the president. I know a lot of Republican lawmakers are kind of saying the same thing, asking, or saying at least, that if the president doesn't feel fit enough to be reelected in the 2024 election, he should maybe drop out entirely of president this year. And looking at some other comments, some people are saying absolutely not. It's easier for Harris to win if president is by her name instead of vice president or as presidential nominee. And some other people saying, do we know if President Biden is still alive at this point? And the questions go on, so on. But that's going to do it for at least the first couple minutes of Up North Live Unscripted. We are going to join back here after a short break with Joe Charlevoix to check in on our weather. All right, welcome back to UpNorthLive Unscripted. Again, I'm Nicole Long filling in for Maya Engel this evening. We are going to be checking in with Joe Charlevoix. Hey, Joe.
Hi.
What's our
I'm having a late cup tonight.
Oh, you are? I feel like I need a late cup as well, probably.
Well, see, we got to do the late news, so that's like we're kind of in the middle of our shift, sort of. So
Yeah.
but there is coffee out there, right? Just so you know.
That's great. I'll probably grab something after.
All right. Yeah, let's take a look at weather. Most areas dry today, Nicole. It was a decent day. But tomorrow there's a much better chance for some rain to roll in. And I want to show you one spot where we did have some of that rain. Right there. There's Houghton Lake, where earlier we had a little bit of rain. Oh, by the way, it looks like somebody's out enjoying the water there in the bottom corner. Why not? Nice, kind of warm afternoon. Let's start off with radar. So this is what we had going on around northern Michigan. A lot of dry weather, but down this way is where we did have a few of these showers and thunderstorms a little earlier. Right over Mayo, again, around Houghton Lake, some showers. I'll stop the radar. This is what's left. So you got to get down here to the east of Clare, some in south of Gladwin, some thunderstorms, and then a few showers trying to work in here into areas south of Alpena, right along the Alpena County line, not far from there from Hubbard Lake. So, you're looking at M65 here, a couple showers right in through there. These will fizzle out this evening. The rest of northern Michigan, high and dry. And then up here, a lot more rain. Rain, thunderstorms up here from Minneapolis up toward Marquette. These showers and storms are going to roll into northern Michigan later tonight, but more likely tomorrow. And that'll be our best chance for some rain coming up here. So this is what it looks like on Stormcast. Dry right now, except for those few showers I just showed you. And then there we are tomorrow morning. So again, Sault Ste. Marie, Sheboygan, Pellston, maybe as far south as Traverse City, Empire, chance for some showers. Kind of cloudy in the afternoon, and then you see these into the afternoon. There's that chance for some rain. So again, if you have outdoor plans tomorrow, that's what we're looking at. Chance for that rain in the afternoon. A bit of that will carry over tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, this low moves away, and then we turn our wind. You see the arrows there out of the north. Some clouds early in the day. I think pretty cloudy to start Wednesday. And then we break out into sunshine. And there we are on Thursday. Thursday looks really nice. And that is going to carry over. High pressure is going to sit right overhead. There's Friday, dry. You see northern Michigan there. Saturday, dry, lots of sunshine. Sunday, partly cloudy. And then Monday, that will be the next chance maybe for a shower or thunderstorm. So let's take a look at our forecast for a few events. We have, of course, the Charlevoix Venetian Festival. That is through this week. Tomorrow, some passing rain and thunder. I mean, we have to put it in. There's the chance for some rain, but it won't rain all day. 73 on a Wednesday, cloudy, then some sunshine. Thursday, beautiful, 76. And then we also have the Michigan Brown Trout Festival continuing over in Alpena. 77 tomorrow, mainly afternoon rain, some thunder. Wednesday, mid-70s. And then Thursday, sunshine, high of 77. We are going to start warming up too, so let's look at the extended forecast, Nicole. There's that chance for some rain tomorrow into early Wednesday. And then look at the sunshine, and we're back into the 80s Friday and well into the 80s at times as we get into the weekend. The weekend looks pretty warm, and I wouldn't be surprised Sunday, a couple spots perhaps touching that 90-degree mark. So, kind of a typical July forecast, and later in the week, a big warm-up as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, just looking beautiful the rest of the week, honestly.
Honestly, for sure.
Well, thanks, Joe, so much for doing the weather for us there. And coming up after the break, we will check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe for the latest in the sports news from today. All right, welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. We are going to bring Harrison Beebe into the game to talk about sports today. Hey, Harrison. Did you like that one?
Into the game, checking in, reserves. I'm riding the bench, but I'm ready for some starter minutes.
So what's going on in sports today, Harry?
Let's see, what do we got today? The big thing from the weekend that I kind of spilled over in today's coverage was former Detroit Tigers manager Jim Leland went to the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame over the weekend, so that's pretty cool to be inducted out there. He spent 8 years managing the Tigers from 2006 to 2013. Those are kind of my golden years for Tiger fandom, 2 World Series runs. And just how do you not love Jim Leland? He's got a lot of old school quirks to the game of baseball. And if you catch our soundbite that either ran in the 6 o'clock news earlier or will be tonight at 11, just really an emotional description of the game of baseball and really a tribute to the fans of the game of baseball and how much they mean to this sport. Because even I'll admit, I love going to basketball games, I love going to football games, but there's something about going to a baseball game. It's different from any other just sporting event because you're like going to a game, but you're also just kind of hanging out with friends in the stands. I know Nicole, you're a big baseball fan, so you probably feel the same way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's America's favorite pastime. I mean, you head there. It's a great game. I mean, you have that 5th inning stretch too. It's like
The 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, one of those innings. I know you get.
Nicole's nervous. She's doing Up North Live Unscripted. She knows her baseball. We'll let her slide with that. I guess Nicole, you stretch earlier than everybody else. That's the thing. Do people look at you though when you start singing the stretch song in the 5th inning? Though.
Yeah, I get up, whether I'm stretching or getting some food or something.
Take me out to the 5th inning. So the Tigers have already started tonight. They're playing the Guardians in Cleveland. They're up 2-0. They are, Nicole, the hottest team in baseball record-wise for the month of July. Can confirm statistically. They're the only team in the majors with 11 wins, and they're at 11-5. That's the best winning percentage of any major league team here in the month of July. So they're still kind of back in the standings for both the AL Central and the wild card, but also a lot of time left. So if these guys keep playing, they've won 4 straight series now after beating Toronto 2 of 3 over the weekend. So if they keep playing like they're playing, it could be a fun team to watch down the stretch.
Yeah, which I have to say is pretty impressive, looking at the back half of this season. I mean, who would have thought, considering their record right now?
Yeah, it's been an up and down ride. It's been an up and down ride for the team, basically since Jim Leland stepped down. So it's kind of cool, ironically, to see him go into the Hall of Fame. And nothing's been hinted at closely yet, but it feels like this team is really locking in as far as winning ball games. And that's, quite frankly, what Tiger fans have been waiting to see.
Well, thank you, Harrison. I can't wait to hear, Jim Leland speak again on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I'm going to let you go. Get ready for the 11 o'clock because I know there's only so much time you can have for preparing.
Well, you better get ready too, Nicole.
Yeah, but in a little. Well, all right. We will come back right after this break for Up North Live Unscripted, but I'm going to pull up this question of the day one more time just so you guys can see it again. If you want to vote, there's still time. You can either go to any of our social media pages or scan the QR code on your screen right now. But we will be right back after this short break. Well, welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. Just looking at our question of the day one more time. Do you think Kamala Harris has a better chance of being elected than Biden? 38% say yes, 57% say no, and 5% are still unsure about that. And you can still vote, and we're going to be probably checking back into this later tonight on Up North Live News at 11. But thank you so much for tuning into Up North Live Unscripted. Again, for latest news, sports, and weather, you can head to our website or tune in later tonight on Up North Live News at 11.